to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. 4 people are dead after an early Saturday morning shooting in northern Kentucky. The Florence Police Chief Jeff Mallory confirmed the names of the 4 victims as 19-year-old Delaney Erie, 20-year-old Hayden Rybicki, 44-year-old Melissa Parrott, and 20-year-old Shane Miller. The suspect later died at St. Elizabeth's from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was identified as 21-year-old Chase Garvey.
The reason everybody was at the house was for a birthday for Miss Parrott's 21-year-old son. The shooter, who is identified as Chase Garvey of Florence, who is also 20 years old, he's known to the party goers. So when the officers got in there and the victims and the party goers told them that the suspect had fled, they identified him as Chase Garvey.
Chief Mallory says this is the first mass shooting ever recorded in the city of Florence. Kentucky State Police released its annual crime report. As WYMT's RJ Johnson shares, law enforcement is continuing to crack down on drugs.
According to the 2023 Crime in Kentucky report, drug and narcotic offenses slightly increased from more than 51,000 in 2022 to more than 53,000 in 2023.
We see it every day, unfortunately. Like I said, it's a big part of our community, unfortunately. But it's one of those things where if we can combat the drugs, we're able to combat a lot of the other crimes associated from that drug use as well.
Trooper Matt Gayhart with Kentucky State Police Post 13 says they work every day to get drugs off of the streets.
It's usually an escape from reality or whatever their everyday life is. And then on the flip side of that, we've got officers and troopers out here working daily to try to remove as much of the drugs from the community as possible.
Hobie Doherty with the London Police Department says they have created a task force within Laurel County.
The task force actually surpassed the numbers that they had seized in years past with the amount of narcotics that they've gotten off the street.
Which has been successful. Both Doherty and Gayhart say they also work with schools to help educate students on the dangers of drugs.
One of the biggest things we're doing is trying to educate our youth. And I think that's where it starts, is in educating them and making them understand why drugs is not an alternative that they can use to get out of a bad situation or whatever situation they may be in.
Just to start at an appropriate age to let them know that there are these dangers out there to protect themselves so they can make a better informed decision themselves.
Gayhart says being vigilant in the community has helped their fight against the drug epidemic.
You see programs like that all across eastern Kentucky especially, so I think that goes a long ways in trying to give people resources.
However, they still have a long way to go. RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Gayhart says the Angel Initiative has been successful. The program lets folks come into KSP Post statewide and ask for treatment. A new scam is targeting people who use EBT cards and food stamps. 2 Kentucky mothers say on July 1st, someone had withdrawn hundreds of dollars of their EBT funds just a couple hours after their monthly deposits were made. Their situation isn't unique. The Cabinet for Health and Family Services says there have been more than 2,000 EBT theft claims from Kentuckians so far this year.
So I go check the app, and lo and behold, around 4 a.m. in the morning, it said Wells Fargo Bank took $650 off. And I knew my money was gone. I'm like, and this is like 7 in the morning. Who gets up at 4 in the morning to go, you know what I mean?
To keep your funds safe, experts say you should make sure your PIN number isn't easy to guess. They also recommend frequently changing your PIN number. If your money is stolen, it's important to report it to the Department of Community-Based Services within 30 days.
After our bout with severe weather yesterday, it's really nice Saturday across eastern Kentucky. I want to take a look around the region over here on our cameras. Let's go over to Pikeville right now, and it's sitting at 82 degrees right there. Feels like 83, but a lower dew point right now than we've seen the last couple days. So that's not too bad at all. Pinpoint Doppler looks like this, clear. this time yesterday, we had rain across the region, so it's going to be a good time to go outside. And I mean, low to mid 80s temperatures across eastern Kentucky. 84 Somerset, 86 in Manchester, and 83 in Prestonsburg. It's pretty nice, but we are looking at the possibility of some rain upcoming this week, so make sure to download that WYMT First Alert weather app. That's going to give you the latest information in that QR code in the top right of your screen. Hour by hour, this is what it looks like. By the time you go to sleep, sitting around the mid 70s, waking up tomorrow, going to be in the mid to high 60s, so setting up for a wonderful Sunday. Madison?
All right, Drake, thank you. Hundreds of people are on the road for the annual 50-mile yard sale along Kentucky 52. The sale spans across 3 counties from Breathitt, Ethel, and on into Lee counties. At these massive yard sales, you can find any and everything you could imagine, from vintage soda machines to anvils. While it is a good time to shop for things you did not know you needed, it is also a great opportunity to build connections with people in the community.
We love to get out and meet people, see people. These are our people, and we got oodles of stuff that we let go for like $1, and it's gone. Somebody else, one man's garbage is another man's treasure.
Officials with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet urge motorists to drive with caution during the event, as there will be people near the roads selling their goods. For generations, hundreds of people travel to Boonville to participate in the Daniel Boone Days celebration, and this year is no different. The town Daniel Boone himself camped in more than 200 years ago is now a site for a town-wide celebration. There is something for everyone, from antique muscle cars to a mini petting zoo. And over the years, the celebration evolved from a simple dance party to a festival enjoyed by hundreds of people today.
The event started years ago more as like a party, dancing on the street dance, shooting fireworks. Over time, it has grown into the actual festival where we have our vendors coming out, setting up, and we're trying to grow more and more every year, bring more people in to see our town.
There will be a cornhole tournament and live entertainment at the festival, with fireworks scheduled to begin at 10 p.m. to end the night. If you haven't quite scratched your 4th of July itch, it's your lucky day. The Hazard firework display was postponed on Thursday due to the weather and will take place this evening after dark. A Kentucky nonprofit is working to improve the safety of pedestrians and cyclists across the state. As Samantha Valentino shows us, they're bringing together leaders and advocates from rural and urban communities to discuss how to best keep people safe.
Bike Walk Kentucky is a nonprofit organization advocating for safe bicycling and walking across the Commonwealth.
From my perspective, I'm seeing a need to educate a lot of people of how to make their communities bike and pedestrian friendly.
That's why Bike Walk Kentucky is hosting its first summit in 5 years.
Bike Walk Kentucky is a conference that will have over 300 people from across the state of Kentucky, with the goal of connecting leaders and advocates to help make our rural and urban communities safer, healthier, and more active.
Keith Levin and Dr. Sharon Brown are both Bike Walk Kentucky board members. The summit will be at Transylvania University on August 15th and 16th.
The number of fatalities and serious injuries are on an increase, not only in Kentucky, but across the country. And so we're hoping to have a lot of representatives from Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to help them design roads, our roads, and provide sidewalks for pedestrians, and making that more accessible, making our transportation system more accessible.
This year's summit will include national speakers and more than 40 breakout sessions.
We hope to connect people's ideas and that they're doing in their communities across the state, where they can actually show and share successful education programs and safety programs in their community, so that, again, we could encourage more people to be out on their bikes and walking and hiking also.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Bike Walk Kentucky says the summit is being held in Lexington and is a great opportunity for people to visit the city's Town Branch Trail, which consists of dedicated bike and pedestrian paths. To register for the summit, you can visit this story on our website. Coming up, the National Weather Service continues to track Hurricane Beryl and warn people of the dangers ahead.
A calm and clear weekend is ahead for Eastern Kentucky. However, rains return to the forecast to start the work week. I have more for you in just a few minutes.
Visit